It's March 3rd today. I'm Jason. It's Johnny Mac. It's March 3rd. You know what that means, John?
Baseball starts in a few weeks. The full
That
start
means
of the
we got
season.
baseball until November, baby.
It's crazy how like you think about it, like usually this is right when spring training starts, and it's we're gonna
Dude,
have like
it's
what
getting
like
early and
7 or 8
earlier.
games in February.
Dude, I feel like eventually we're going to get opening day in February. Like I remember like it wasn't until like March 10th we get opening day. Now that opening
I
day
mean the
is getting a little
one
rough these days. I think well, aren't they starting? I think if I'm
it's
not
weird.
mistaken,
I
isn't
just don't.
really I thought there was an opening series. Isn't LA going over to Japan or something like that for like one of those pre-opening series before the season even actually starts this season?
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean that's the team that you would want over there.
Yeah, but it's
It's just weird because it seems the season ends longer. It ends at the end. They're still playing 162 games, which I don't understand. But the season
it's wild.
ends in October. It used to end like right around
Well, it ends in
September, maybe.
November now. Usually that World Series, usually you're getting in
Yeah,
the beginning of November
but it
nowadays.
starts early too. It's starting the last week of March. It starts like the 20th,
It's
it's like opening day.
wild.
It's weird that the way they have it all set up and everything now, the way they do it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
but it
I'm
looks like
excited.
they are giving that one day off a week now. They used to remember those times where they were just playing like
7
14,
days.
15. They're playing 14, 15, 16 straight days in a row. But it looks like they do get that one day off in the week now. So I guess that's why the early
Oh
start, give
yeah,
them a day of
definitely
rest.
getting some off days. That's why it's running late and starting early. But hey, it's a lot of baseball. It's 162 games is long.
And the scheduling now too, where you play everybody now. Like that's another the new thing. I think that kicks in fully this year, right? Or did it kick in fully last
I think
year?
it was last year. You faced every team, yeah, home and away. So I think this year, I think we get the Yankees at home, if I'm not mistaken. But with spring training kicking off, we're now kind of into it. We've seen, Nola seemed like his last start got hit around. We're not going to dive too much into that. But we're looking at a couple of big name free agent signs since we last spoke. And Cody Bellinger went back to Chicago. Very feel
I
like
mean, that's I
player
said that
friendly and team
it's
friendly
very
deal.
it is. I said that was about the deal he's gonna get. I said 3 years 75. He ended up getting 3 years 80. So I mean, I was right in the ballpark, and I said he was gonna stay with the Cubs. I just didn't see him
It's a
at.
perfect deal for him because he gets an opt out after he has a player option for every season after. So
And he's making good money too. It's not like he's making crap
no,
money. He's making good money. So even if he's like, oh damn, I sucked this year, I'm not gonna get
but
that long term deal. I'll make 25 next year. Oh, I sucked again. I'll make 25 again.
that's a deal I feel like, and Chapman is kind of the same type of deal in San Fran. So these Boris guys that were looking for the big money aren't getting it. But I feel like those are two type of deals. Maybe not as much Chapman because we do have Bowman third, like a Bellinger to play center field. I feel like a lot of us are a little not out on Rojas, but you're just not sure. When you got
Yeah.
a player like Bellinger out there, I feel like that's a great deal the Phillies could have had because hey, he comes in here, performs like he does last
Hmm.
year. Let me just opt out and go look at the market. You're really looking at a 1 year deal. Feel like with Bellinger, if he performs well, and if he doesn't perform, let's say he slides a little, he's still Gold Glove defender, great speed. You're not losing much. I feel like if you did a
Yeah.
deal like that.
He's going to hit more home runs than Rojas. I can guarantee. Even if he hits 220, he's still going to hit more
Yeah,
home runs than Rojas is going to hit and driving more runs. I would assume. I just don't love another lefty in this lineup. We already have four, five lefties is a lot. You face a tough lefty in the playoffs. I mean, last year we had a ton of good lefties. Was it Miami? Miami had all the lefties.
Miami, I think, threw lefty every game at us.
Yeah, so I mean, you face a team like Miami last year who just has tough lefties out the wazoo. They had like
And
four
that
guys in their
bullpen,
pen,
yeah.
and they had like two starters who were left-handed. You get something like that, or that's where you can get screwed in the playoffs. And that's what happened back in when they played the Giants back in 2012. They just threw lefties against the Phillies, and that's how they beat the Phillies.
Yeah. But it's just tough because I know you've thrown it out there a lot. The Phillies haven't the Whit Merrifield good signing. It's
Yes,
not
he's a great bench.
great
I don't think
bench
he's a
bat.
everyday starter anymore, but it's a great guy to have off the bench. Great
Even if he
locker room
has to,
guy.
it gives you
Yep.
flexibility.
Hmm.
But they're really, and the news coming out, you see now, you always keep hearing the Phils are interested in Montgomery, Snell, these guys, if the price looks right. And you see a lot right now them talking about Snell to Philadelphia. And they're saying outside of I guess the Philly side is saying if it could be a 1 to 2 year deal, that's what the Phillies are looking at. what are your thoughts? Is that something? Do you even think Snell? Because to me personally, I don't think Snell even
I think we already have
one
we have a
two.
right-handed version of Snell on the team already that doesn't
Oh,
have
I
two Cy Young. That doesn't have
thousand
two Cy
percent
Youngs.
agree.
That's the only difference really. There is, I mean,
Would you bring
Nope.
him in on a 2-year deal though? If you could get him 1-2 years at around, let's just say probably around 20 to 25, would you bring him in?
Yes, I would. I would consider it. My thing about it is like, are you gonna get 6-man rotation? Because I like the way that Sanchez is starting. I still don't fully trust him to be a guy, but it seems like he increases velocity. He's looked really good so far. So like, what are you gonna put him in the bullpen? Are you gonna put Ranger in the bullpen? What are you gonna do with Walker? You're paying Walker a shit ton of money already at that point. So you're gonna move him, just pay him to get lost at
You
this
could
point.
do
Like
that. I
it's
see.
just
I
a
personally
weird.
think Rangers locked in that rotation. I don't think unless you're moving Ranger to closer, I really think Rangers locked in right now at the three
I think
four.
Ranger might be the odd man out if it ever comes to anything. He might be the first odd man out just because he's not making a ton of money. He's going to be easy to move to a team that needs another arm.
Wait, you
Nobody's
think
going
he
to want.
gets moved?
I said if it came down to it, he'd be the first guy I think they move.
He gets good value. I think a lot of it depends on what Sanchez. I think the Snell move, to me, for a 1-2 year deal, I actually don't mind it.
And then
I
what do you?
don't,
Then my thing about I like a 1-year deal because then but like what happens next year? I mean, you got Abel and Painter who are I'm assuming they're going to be ready to pitch in the majors next year the way it looks. I mean, they're going to
well,
be.
we've watched
That's
baseball long enough to know injuries are going to happen.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
are going to happen.
so
It's
I'm
just
okay, even if you bring Snell in for on a 2-year deal. I know Painter and Abel, or at least Abel and McGarry. This we'll see the big leagues this year. To me, there's no doubt both of them sniff the majors. Um, man, but if you pay, that's a solid. Even to me, I'm okay.
I think that's why they want the short deal because they already gave Noah a long-term deal. They're probably going to give Wheeler 3 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it could possibly be longer. We don't know, but he's going to get a longer deal. So I don't think they don't want the longer deal because maybe they want to keep Ranger. They have to give him a deal. Maybe Sanchez turns out to be a diamond in the rough, and they have to give him a contract. Then you have Painter and Abel too. Like it's just going to load up the team where it's just like you can't. You have two top pitching prospects in baseball that you need to play, or they're just unless you're going to trade them for something. But I don't really see them really
No,
making a
it's
deal outside of like maybe if the
with
White Sox
Burns
are
being
down bad.
moved. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see a big move out unless you're going after Class A or Bieber. I feel like from there, to me, but the Snell move makes sense. I don't mind a 2-year. There's no way I was giving him what was they think he originally wanted. Wasn't it like 9 for 270? I think that's what he was originally
I
looking
think he
for.
wanted over 300. I think he wants 300 plus. Something
Yes.
ridiculous.
So there's no way
Like
to
he's
me
like
he's not that pitcher. I don't care
like
about the Cy
Verlander
Youngs.
and like they got the 40 mil AAV. Like, but those guys, Snell's not in their ballpark. Like even when they
No,
were 39 years old, 38 years old, he
not
wasn't
even
even close
close.
close to their ballpark. They were still top 5 pitchers in baseball. I don't think Snell's a top 5 pitcher in baseball, but he does have those years where you're like, oh my god, this guy's unbelievable. Then he has those years where those previous 2 years when he was in San Diego where he just stunk.
Well, you look, in between the Cy Young years, his record, he's 25 and 26 with a 3.85 ERA and a whip of 1.25. Like he's not he's basically Nola, except he finished, like you said, he finished with the Cy Young wins, and
Yeah, but he
Nola
played
finished
the
right
years that
outside.
where there was nobody else,
Yeah,
that could win the award. He just played great. That like the National League
he
had
just
really
got
no.
lucky.
He
There's
had
not a
no
lot of guys
competition.
this year.
There was no competition. And then the year I think the finalists were Charlie when he won it in the A. I think the finalists was like him, Charlie Morton, and somebody else. It was a weird year where it was like it wasn't even the top guys finishing when he won it in Tampa Bay.
But I'm still just really shocked with the amount of guys, how long it's taken into free agency. Because you still have a guy like
I think
JD
it's a Boris
Martinez
thing.
left. I don't know.
Because if you look at the top guys that are still available, who's their agent?
Yeah, but Boris is never real and you look at the deals. To me, I feel like it speaks a lot to the talent that they have right now. Like the talent that's the free agent class. I think this might be one of the most overrated free agent classes in a long time.
It is because they're not. You don't. I mean, Bellinger is a former MVP, but besides last year, he's had like some really, really rough
Right, it's
years.
wild. You have a guy that's a
Snell,
two-time Cy Young winner, a former MVP, a Gold Glove defender, and it may be the most overrated free
Because you don't
agent
consider them
class.
top guys in baseball. I mean, in 2019, I would have considered Bellinger a top guy in baseball, but he clearly fell off a little bit. I mean, maybe he recaptured something, and maybe he'll be able to get that deal that he wants next year. But they're just not guys where you consider where you can say like this guy. It's not like Harper or Machado year where those guys are going to get. Those guys are legit top
Yeah,
guys in this league. It's not what it is. It wasn't like when Trey Turner and all those shortstops who were actually top shortstops in baseball last year were out there. These guys are good baseball players that are taking advantage of a situation where they're the top guys in the market and they want to get paid because they are the top guys available at this time.
it's tough though because it really feels like Boris is leading them tough way. Like, and I get it, they're Boris guys and they want to, but it's, I don't
And
know.
I think the owners don't love the fact that Boris's guys they can never extend Boris guys. He always wants to take them to free agency.
Yeah,
That's the one thing and I think that really is bothering a lot of the owners because they want to. I'm scared it's going to happen with Bohm and Stott at some point. They're not going to be able to get the deal done with those guys, and
that's why you pay the kids now. That's why I'm paying them now.
but that's the thing. All the guys that are young and getting paid, they're not Boris guys. So I
Yeah,
mean, Nationals tried to pay Soto. They offered him a good deal, and he's like, "Nah, I want out of here."
I think he's on a different level than a lot of most of the players
Yeah,
though.
Harper. Nationals tried to pay Harper. He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go to free agency."
But
So
it's,
who knows?
I'm just upset. I think, and to your whole point, I feel like most of this offseason, I'm just annoyed at this point seeing all these player friendly, but also on the team friendly deal side because Bellinger could opt out if he has another season like he did, or like that first half of that season, he was projected to be MVP. Like he was playing on a next level. If Chapman comes around, if his back can come around, because we all know Gold Glove defender just not there off.
Probably the
He's
best, probably the second. I mean, it's hard
right
to. No,
behind
Arenado's
Arenado.
still up there, but
Chapman's right
even
there.
Arenado says Chapman's the better third baseman. But so I mean, that's a humble guy
And
saying that. But
his glove is fantastic.
they're both unbelievable.
The bat's just not there, and it's
Yeah, he'll
tough to
give you 20
really.
home runs. He will give you 20
Yeah,
home runs and go. So you can't get too mad about it. But 220, he's not going to hit for average.
I would have
It's
loved everybody outside of Chapman. I feel like I would love to take on the type of deal that they've had though, because Chapman, I'm
mhm.
okay with Bohm at third. I like Bohm's bat. He's not going to be Chapman defensively, but he's definitely improved.
And he's improved a ton.
I
And
just
they
don't
have the right
get.
guy in the clubhouse. Bobby Dickerson's the right guy to make him a better defender, and it seems like he's improved every single year.
I just don't get why you're not hearing them. You've heard the Snell thing. I know you're here, but they've basically been the whole thing since the beginning. If the deal's right, they're there for Snell. So this coming out now, everybody's saying, "Oh, if the Phillies are looking for a 1-2 year deal," it's not new news to me, and it really hasn't changed the narrative since the beginning of free agency with the Phillies on Snell. So the fact that really outside of Whit
I
Merrifield,
think
you're
they're
not
making a stand.
going after him.
I think they're taking a stand. This is the deal they want, and they're not budging because I think they think they're still good enough even if they don't get Snell. So I think they would love to have the addition of Snell because it would make them a better team. But they still think they are good enough without Snell, so they're not going to break the bank for somebody like him.
See, do you believe that was the
And
question? Do
I
you
also
believe
believe
they are?
I believe they're a good team. I don't believe they're better than last year.
Can this team right now, as currently constructed, do you think they could win the World Series?
They could, but I don't think
Okay.
they're going to. I think they can, but I just don't think they're better than last year. And I think other teams around them, like you see, the Diamondbacks who made it last year, they got better. The
I don't
Braves, they
say
got
we're
better.
I think adding Whit Merrifield, I think that move right there, I think that
It
puts
does
us
give them a little
above what
better.
it does
I just
than
don't
what we
like.
were last
I
year.
don't think the bullpens have got the same. I don't think they really improved much in the bullpen
I think
area.
get rid of Kimbrel automatically improves you there, but I think that one's
But
already an improvement.
so, and there's just weird situation.
I I agree. I
I
think
like
you're
to
a
get
move
better. I
away.
like to get better. And they're gonna make it. They're gonna make a move at some point. I don't think they're done. Dombrowski, he loves to make a trade. It's weird that he hasn't done it yet. Maybe this is the year. I would love a Luis Robert. That would be ideal. If somehow they can convince the White Sox to deal him over here, that'd be great. He's 26. He does have the health concerns, but it seemed last year he played his first full season. Maybe that's somebody to keep an eye on. Bieber and Class A are guys to keep an eye on. And I just honestly think they have great faith in Payne and able to be guys on this team, and they don't really want to give a guy like Snell and Montgomery a long term deal to block these guys from coming up.
I to me, I don't look at any of them as guys. I feel like I'm huge in the farm system because I love to see. I remember watching the Dodgers when they were just throwing through prospects. What the
They're
Phillies
st-
did
they're still
after,
doing it.
yeah, and what the Phillies did after, during that, right after '08, they started throwing prospects away to get players to, like, the best team in that Phillies run was definitely not the '08 team that won. I
They weren't
feel
that
like
good of a team if you go back and they really
they
weren't
had the
that good of a team.
power. They didn't have
They
pitching at
just
all.
they just had like it was just the right team at the right time. They got hot right
and,
at the
and
end of
got
the
lucky.
season and they got it.
They
And they
got
got hot at the
Tampa in
same.
the World Series. That was the
Yeah,
one team I felt like that season when I looked at it. I remember thinking, if we can make it and play
but
Tampa,
that's baseball. Like I mean, that's
yeah,
look at the Diamondbacks last year. They just got hot at the right time. There's the one team I said I think I said on the podcast. So the one team I don't want to play in the playoffs, and they ended up playing them.
but to me, that's what I look at. Painter maybe not because he hasn't pitched much, he's injured. But I look at the rest of those guys for the right deal. I'm 100% getting rid of anybody in that bullpen. I don't give a because Sixto Sanchez was a top 5 guy, and now he looks like CC Sabathia, late Yankee career. Okay, he's
But
blown up.
he's had some injuries. That's his problem. That's not really. It's not really his
But
ability.
that's
It's his
why I don't trust.
injuries.
That's why I have
Yeah,
no issues trading my prospects away. And to me, I still believe they're going
but
to
my
be
problem with the
dealers
trading
at
the
the deadline.
prospects away, it did work out for the Phillies because really, besides Carrasco, nobody really ever turned out to be anything when the guys the Phillies traded away, anyways. But I get scared. I don't want another situation where, like in right after 2012, where it's just they had nothing. They were not. They had nothing, and
Yeah, but I
they
see that
hired
I've
the
watched
wrong
the
guys.
Dodgers. That's why I'm going to just trust who we have now and trust our system because I've watched the Dodgers go through 18 different shortstops, and 17 of them were all-star players. So and they're just trading away everybody and nobody. The Dodgers, because I've watched outside of Houston left. What's the Houston? Jordan Alvarez. Outside
No,
of
they had O'Neill Cruz. They had Verdugo's a good baseball player.
okay,
He's not a
O'Neill
superstar.
Cruz. We're not sure. He just came up last. He's a top guy, but Jordan's the
Yeah.
only one that's really proved it right now. That on a big stage, that okay, maybe. And he didn't. They didn't get anything back for him.
But then you
Um,
got guys like Lux is a good player. He just tore his ACL there last year. He's a good
well, yeah,
player. Will
he's
Smith
still
is
on the
another
team.
top guy. Yeah, Will
Yeah, but
Smith's
they know
another
how to
top guy.
draft. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping the Phillies can do. That they right now have positioned themselves well enough with the top
Yeah.
prospects that they can move those guys, and that's where I'm not
But
worried
the,
about
also,
trading them.
besides their top four guys, five guys, they really don't have anything after that. That's also the issue after that. They don't have a farm system besides those beginning guys.
Yeah, but Don Brown was the number 1 prospect for Mike Trout one time, so it's not an exact
It's
science.
not an exact science, but they really like other than those guys, they really have nothing. I mean, that Simon Musiotti. I mean, he stinks. He's like their 10th best prospect. I mean, some of these guys they are just not going to see the majors at all in a Phillies uniform.
But in kind of shifting gears a little bit, you were talking how the Phillies haven't. You didn't think they were getting better, and you were really big on a guy today. I wanted to talk about a little tonight. Chris thought we should. Wanted to bring
I
it up.
agree.
Your the
I
Atlanta
think
Braves bring in a guy who I think I very much scoffed at and laughed at, and Chris I felt did the same in Chris Sale. And you threw out some numbers today that may
he
be
looks
kind of
good.
interesting.
He looked good today pitching against the Phillies today too. That's like another thing. And that's I just let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, the numbers I was kind of shocked to see what they were last season because when you just look at it on face
He
value,
had a
it didn't look
20 starts.
great.
He had a 4.3 ERA. It doesn't look like it's a good year, but I mean April he had a 6.75 ERA. That's atrocious. But then in May he was down to a 2.42 with a 0.18 WHIP, and then June he was a 2.45 ERA with a 1.64 ERA. That's a little high. August he struggled again. That's when he came back from injury, so it took a little time to settle in. You know, at a 5.30 ERA with a 1.18 ERA, and in September he had a 2.88 ERA with a 0.96 ERA. And after April 30th, he had a 3.16 ERA with a .9 WHIP, that's really good. I mean, he hasn't pitched a full season since 2019. Now came back from Tommy John, and I believe he it was a real struggle for him coming back from Tommy John. I mean, I think he got injured right away. Again, he had some arm thing right away, and then he broke his hand or something, punching the dugout or something stupid like that, where that took a bunch of time away from him
He
too.
has
I just think
30 plus starts in 2017.
so. I think he had 25 and 19, right? Was that
Yeah,
25, 27?
it's
So
140. It's not a full
I just think
season.
a guy like that, I think the Braves know what they're doing, and I think they believe they needed another lefty in their rotation for the Phillies. And I think that he's going to be a problem if he's healthy. It is. Granted, if he's healthy, I think he's going to be a problem for the Phillies if they see the Braves in the postseason this year.
To me, that's what all of that hinges on. I don't really care about what he showed me. I don't care what he did last year. The dude hasn't pitched a full season, hasn't had, really a full season worth of starts in 6-7 years at this point. Like, I get it. You're not bringing him in to be your number one guy in his prime. And it's weird, in his prime, which I feel, at this point he was 22. He was a very good pitcher, one of probably the top left-handed pitchers in baseball. But injuries have really derailed his career.
Guy to hit. He's a very tough guy to hit.
He's got a weird arm angle. He throws hard. Coming that side angle is not easy because not many pitchers.
And it's not like he's coming the same angle every time. He's a weird guy who has a different pitch angle every single time he releases the baseball. It's a very tough thing to pick up, and I think that's why the Braves, they're a smart organization, and I think they think they see something in him, and they saw something last year, which, I mean, the numbers show that he did have a pretty good year last year, even though it didn't look like he had a good year. And I think this is somebody that they got for the Phillies lineup, and I was reading another article.
Injuries, though.
Yeah, he has. I mean,
that's my issue. I just don't. I get it. I think
shoulder. That's the thing you got to worry about with pitchers. It's the shoulder. If it's elbow and stuff like that, that stuff can go away at times too. It's the shoulder that you got to worry about.
See, to me, it's the same thing. Like, this is like I don't know if you'll find a bigger Clayton Kershaw fan than me. Maybe Dean. Because he's a Dodger guy still. I understand that Kershaw's not going to be there in the playoffs. I'm not worried about Sale because I just don't think he's going to be there in the playoffs. He's not going to be able to. I don't think he puts together a healthy enough season. And even if he is there, it's going to be one of those things where he's coming back and going to be hurt. I really don't see. To me, the Chris Sale does not make that Dodger team or that Brave team any better. And that's where kind of I look at it, where you're saying, they have two guys they could bring up, pitchers, Atlanta, to bring up and keep in the rotation, that they're going out and getting that guy.
And they have Morton coming back this year too. But I mean, I'm not really worried about Morton. I think I
just think that Chris Sale move is, I think it's more of, he may be used out of the bullpen. I think that may be a move for them. And kind of in the big moments in the bullpen, that's where
he can pitch in the
playoffs.
Like, he's a guy that because he can pitch in the playoffs.
That's where you bring him in as a lefty against your guys. You let your top, because I feel like their top three guys, they have a good set of front tier guys, and you bring.
Who are they? Who are they this year? I mean, it's Strider, Fried, and then who's their third? Who's going to be their third guy? I don't really know at this moment.
I think they're talking that rookie kid. I think they're bringing
Shalver Smith.
I thought there was a lot of stuff about him.
Yeah, and then he had his fastball is electric. I mean, he didn't do well against the Phillies at the playoffs last year, but I mean, it's a guy rookie who's barely pitched.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to do well in the playoffs at that.
That's where you have Sale to come in those situations where, like, I know they were talking about they brought Strider in. That's a move. That would be a move there, but I just don't see it. To me, the Chris Sale move is nothing special. I don't think they got that much better. They haven't really done much more than we have, in my opinion. And I think
Kalnick's there are things. Kalnick's a good player. He's just never, if he can stay healthy, he's better than Eddie Rosario and the guys that they had out in left field last year. But he has to stay healthy again. They have a good team in general. It's just
they have a very good team.
They're going to be good in general.
They have a better team than us, but we just seem to have the number. It's weird.
Because I think it's more of a situation where, like, I'll bring a basketball reference. When the Lakers play the Clippers, like, they want to prove that LA is their city. So, like, I feel like that's how the Phillies feel when they play the Braves. Like, we're bet, like, they want to beat the Braves more than they want to win the World Series at times, and that's what it felt like.
It does feel like it.
After they beat the Braves last year, it's kind of like they were like, oh, we got the Diamondbacks. They're not that good. We'll roll over them, and they got caught laughing because that's how baseball is. Like, It's not like a football like where you're clearly better, like or basketball where you're clearly better. You're going to win that game any given day. It's baseball. Anyone can win on any given day. That's why it's the best sport there is.
Yeah, it's. I'm so excited. I know we got to see the big three, not big three, but Harper, Bohm, and JT debuted this week. It's just I can't wait for the regular season. MLB The Show comes out in like 2 weeks, so I'm stoked about that. And then we got the regular season right around the corner. I can't wait. So these are getting tougher and tougher as we get closer down.
It is. I just want more to talk about. That's what really, because it's spring training. There's really guys are gonna get caught bats here and there, but they're just trying to get a feel, get back into the thing. It's nothing really like, oh wow, you saw JT homer, you saw
a lot of that stuff.
Saw Bohm homer, but it's like no, they homered in spring. Like it doesn't really matter. Like
because a lot of these guys you're seeing minor league dudes, and you're facing minor league bats.
Yeah.
So I'm never too worried.
They set it up too is like the Noah's going to pitch the day that like not the good guys like the starters are playing. They're pitching against other dudes like, and then same thing. Phillies are not facing the top guys. They're facing other dudes.
Yep. I want March 28th to be here.
It's going to, of course, it's against the Braves. I mean, I'll predict that game. That's going to be, Noel's going to go 6 innings, and then they're going to give up a 3-run home run or something like that. And
Wheeler's probably pitching opening.
No, Wheeler's not starting. Wheeler, if Noel's on this team, Wheeler will never be the opening day starter.
I'm okay with that, though.
He has to. It's not. It has nothing to do with he's better. Noel has the streak.
Consecutive.
Why break that streak? I mean, I think he has the record now, or this year's the record. Or is this
year's the record? Close. I forget. I know it was close. I know it was close. I think he had like 5 or 6, right, Carlton? Was it like 6?
I think, but I mean, you know what I mean. It's he's going to be. They're going to let him ride until he's going to be okay, sir, until he dies. Until he's gone. That's just how we're going to have to deal with it.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. He's not the guy.
Did somebody clip that?
No, don't clip it. He's not. I don't like it, but I can't wait. I know we're ready.
I know. I would like Wheeler to be it too, but I think they're going to show respect to a guy.
Give your guy the nod. It makes sense.
Tenured Philly, the guy who wants to be here, the guy who signed that deal, they're going to give it to him until hopefully maybe Painter can take it from him, or maybe when he breaks the record, they'll give it to Wheeler. But at this point, it's going to be Noel opening day.
But I can't wait.
Atlanta? Are they home or are they in Atlanta?
No, I think they start at home this year.
Nice.
Yeah, because we have that. It's going to be cold. It's the day before Good Friday, so I'll be. Hopefully, I'm trying. My neck's still a little sore, so I don't know yet, but I don't think I'm going to miss it. I'm not missing it, but the tickets are good. But
3 more weeks to recover.
Yeah, we're good. But thank you everyone for joining us. And if you're listening on the Spotify or wherever you guys get your podcasting needs, we appreciate you listening another week. The big dog not here today because he's down in on vacationing with the family. So he'll probably be back. I don't know if he'll be back next week. I don't know when he gets back. He doesn't tell us these things. He lets us know the day we're doing a podcast how it's going on. That he, let us know. Oh, by the way, I'm not being here. So thanks, Chris. We appreciate it, bud. But other than that, we'll see you next Sunday. Hopefully, there's a little bit more to talk about. Maybe the Phillies will have signed Snell by that point,
or they give Wheeler that extension. I just don't know. I
don't think the Wheeler thing's coming.
I don't think it's gonna happen anyway. I mean, they said they're talking, and then all of a sudden you don't hear anything for 2 weeks. So I don't think.
No. Yeah, I don't. But Wheeler already said he's okay going into the season. He said it's not. I think he said he is.
You know why?
He's not worried about it.
He's probably the best pitcher on the market, so he's fine going the whole season.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it's gonna be the same.
It's going to go up. It's going to go up if you let him go too long. The longer it goes out, it could be tough. So it might not be good for the Phillies to let it go into the season.
Yeah, that's
good. Thing is he wants to be here.
Yeah, so I don't think it matters what any other. He's going to be like, oh, this team offered me that, and the Phillies are just going to have to match it at that point, or they're just going to get it done right away, just like they did with Nola. It's going to be something like that.
Pretty much, I agree. But till next week, we will see you guys. Hopefully, there's a little bit more to talk about. Enjoy your weekend. Go Phils. That feels so good. Later, gents and ladies.